The night over Earth was calm. Above the dark side of the planet, the stars were clear and sharp. City lights glowed like tiny fires on the surface. Satellites moved in silent lines. Space was peaceful, quiet, almost asleep. Then something broke the silence. At first it was only a small dot, just another light in the sky, but this light was moving too fast. It burned brighter and brighter, leaving a long tail behind it. To people on the ground, it looked like a beautiful shooting star. Some children made wishes. Some couples pointed at it from balconies. But in Earth's orbit inside the Terran Defense Station horizon, alarms began to scream. Captain Aria Morgan was in the command room when the first alert flashed red on the main screen. She had seen many satellites, many ships, many strange objects over the years, but this was different. "Report," she said, her voice calm but hard. A young officer, Liam, checked his console. Sweat formed on his forehead as numbers changed too fast. Unknown object entering the atmosphere, speed beyond normal. It just slowed down. Aria frowned. Objects from space did not slow down like that. They burned, they fell, or they broke apart. They did not hit the brakes. "Show me," she said. The main screen zoomed in. The object was not a rock. It was not a normal ship either. It looked broken. Pieces of metal floated around it. Faint blue lights flickered on its surface like dying candles. "What about identification?" she asked. "Nothing, ma'am. No Terran signature, no known code. Our systems can't read it." Another officer, Chen, spoke up. "Ma'am, for 3 seconds our radar went dark when it appeared, like something cut the signal." 3 seconds, Aria repeated. "Radars do not just fail for 3 seconds. It was like something bent around them, Captain." On the screen, the broken ship started to fall faster. Flames formed around it as it entered the upper atmosphere, but every few seconds the flames dimmed, as if some weak shield still tried to protect it. "Impact prediction," Aria ordered. "Forests, northern hemisphere, deep rural zone far from big cities," Liam answered. "No major population, but there are small towns nearby." Aria watched the burning object. Her instincts whispered a simple thing: this is not an attack. This is something else, but something else could mean many dangers. "Wake the ground forces," she said. "I want a response team ready, and keep tracking that thing. I want eyes on it until it hits." "Yes, ma'am." Far below, in a small town under that stretch of sky, a farmer was closing his barn when he saw the falling light. He set his tools down and stared. The light was wrong. It did not move like a star. It twisted, slowed, almost like it was fighting to stay in the air. He felt fear in his chest and did not know why. Halfway across the world, in a secret underground bunker, a different alarm sounded. This one was deep and slow, like a heartbeat. General Rafael Ortiz was pulled from sleep by his aide. "General, we have an unidentified crash incoming. Horizon confirms possible alien craft." Rafael rubbed his face. He was an old soldier. He had trained for war with other nations, with terrorists, with pirates in space. But not this, not a true unknown. "Any signs of attack?" he asked while walking quickly to the operations room. "None, sir. No weapons active. The ship looks badly damaged. It might not survive the fall." Rafael nodded slowly. "Then we find it first and we decide what happens next, not some panic on social media." The crash happened 20 minutes later. The ship tore through clouds and slammed into a dense forest far from any highway. Trees exploded in all directions. A shockwave rolled out, knocking birds from the sky. Animals ran in every direction, terrified. For a moment there was silence. Then small fires began to burn where the trees had fallen. Smoke rose into the night. Minutes later, black helicopters flew in low and fast, their rotors cutting the air. Terran soldiers roped down, weapons ready but fingers off the trigger. They wore dark armor, visors glowing faint blue. Captain Aria arrived with the first team. She stepped onto broken ground, feeling the earth still trembling under her boots. The crashed ship lay in a long trench of mud and shattered trees. Its hull was torn open. Blue light spilled from inside, pulsing like a weak heartbeat. Strange symbols ran along the metal walls, written in no language from Earth. "Remember," Aria said through the squad channel, "we don't know what this is. We don't fire unless we have no choice. We are here to secure and to learn." The soldiers moved closer, forming a careful circle around the wreck. As Aria approached, she heard something unexpected, crying, small, weak crying. She raised a hand, signaling everyone to stop. The wind carried a thin sound like a child afraid of the dark. "Do you hear that?" whispered Liam, who had flown down with her as part of the recon team. Aria stepped over twisted metal and broken cables. Her flashlight beam cut through smoke. Inside the ship she saw movement. A small figure crawled out of the shadows. It was not human. Its skin was pale silver, almost transparent. Large, dark eyes blinked slowly, filled with pain and fear. Its body was thin, fragile, wrapped in torn fabric. When the beam of light hit it, it flinched and raised a shaking hand to cover its face. Several soldiers gasped. One of them lifted his gun, but Aria pushed it down. "Hold," she ordered. "Nobody shoots." The small being looked at them, trembling. Its lips moved. At first no sound came, then in broken but clear words it spoke English. "Please, not soldiers," it whispered. "Please, we only run, we only escape." Liam's eyes widened. "It's speaking our language." Aria's heart beat faster. Someone had taught the species English, or they had learned it the hard way. She knelt slowly, keeping her hands open, palms up, just like she would with a frightened human child. "It's okay," she said in a calm voice. "You are hurt. We can help you. We will not harm you." Behind the small figure, more shapes moved in the dark, larger but just as weak. Some dragged others who could not walk. There were at least a dozen of them, maybe more, all injured, all scared. One of the taller beings stepped forward. Its face was sharper, its eyes older. A long wound ran across its arm. Glowing faint blue around the edges where some kind of strange blood leaked. It looked at Aria, at the soldiers, at the guns. "We are refugees," it said slowly, as if choosing each word with care. "We crashed by mistake. We did not want your world." Aria realized something. They were not here to invade. They were here because they had nowhere else to go. She touched the small device at her collar. "This is Captain Aria Morgan to command. We have survivors, many. They appear non-hostile. They call themselves refugees." In the underground bunker, General Raphael listened to her report with a stern face. Around him, officers watched the live feed on screens. They saw the thin alien forms, the wounds, the fear. One of the advisors whispered, "Sir, this could be a trap, an alien trick. We must secure them, maybe even neutralize them before their real fleet arrives." Raphael did not answer at once. He had fought enough wars to know fear when he saw it. Those aliens did not look like hunters. They looked like hunted animals. "Put me through to the captain," he said. Aria heard his voice in her earpiece. "Captain, can they understand you?" "Yes, sir. Their leader speaks basic English. Ask them who they are running from." Aria looked at the tall alien. "My people want to know," she said softly. "Who are you running from?" The alien froze. Its eyes darkened. As if it remembered something terrible, it looked at the others. Some of them began to shake. One covered its face and made a low, sad sound. Finally, the leader spoke. "We run from the Draxian hunters," it said. "They chase us across stars. They take our worlds. They take our children. We escape. Only few ships left. We jump, but our engine break. We fall here." It looked up at the night sky as if it could see past the thick smoke and clouds. "They will follow," it added in a low voice. "They always follow." Those words moved through the Terran soldiers like a cold wind. Aria knew the name, not from Earth history but from rumors. Years ago, a deep space probe had picked up a fragment of a broken transmission, a voice screaming in a language no one could decode, and one clear word in English: hunters. Scientists had guessed it might be a warning. Intelligence reports had quietly filed it away. Now, here on Earth, someone finally gave that warning a face. "Captain," General Raphael said, his voice heavier now. "Bring them in, all of them. Treat their wounds, feed them, but keep them under guard, and keep this quiet. No public news until we understand what's happening." "Yes, sir," Aria replied. She turned back to the refugees. "We will take you to a safe place," she said. "You are on Earth now. We will help you." The small alien child who had spoken first stared at her, trying to read her face. There was confusion there, but also a tiny spark of hope. "Safe," the child echoed softly as if tasting the word. Aria nodded. "Safe." The child stepped forward, then suddenly stumbled. Aria caught it before it hit the ground. Its skin was cold and light, like holding a bird. As she lifted the child, it grabbed weakly at her armor and pulled her closer. Its voice was a tiny whisper near her ear. "Please," it said, "do not send us back. They are coming." A shiver ran through Aria's spine. "Who?" she asked, although she already knew the answer. "The hunters," the child breathed. "They will see our fall. They will come for us, and when they come, they will burn your world too." The helicopters took off with their strange passengers. The crashed ship burned behind them, sending blue and orange flames into the sky. Firefighters moved in to contain the blaze. Drones flew overhead to erase any evidence that normal cameras might catch. From orbit, Terran satellites watched the stars carefully, looking for any new arrival. In the command room of Horizon, Liam sat at his console, eyes wide, searching for signals, distortions, anything. His fingers shook as he typed. Beside him, Aria's chair sat empty. She was on the ground now with the refugees, but her last words before leaving the station still echoed in the room. "If they are running from something, we need to know what that something is. And we need to know it fast." On the edge of the solar system, far beyond Pluto, in the cold black where sunlight was weak, space rippled. Something large and sharp cut through the dark, leaving a faint red mark where it passed. It was a hunter's ship, covered in blades and cruel angles. It followed a trail that only its strange sensors could see, the fading scent of a broken jump, the dying echo of a refugee engine. Inside that ship, a harsh voice spoke in a language full of growls and clicks. A translator machine turned those sounds into a cold, clear sentence. "Prey lost jump vector," it said. "Signal ends near unknown blue world." The hunter captain smiled with a mouth full of sharp teeth. "Then we go to the blue world," he said. "We take back our prey, and we teach this new world what happens when it stands in our way." The ship turned toward the distant sun, engines waking like hungry beasts. Back on Earth, no one knew yet that the desperate call had already been heard. The night wind blew softly over the forest, carrying the smell of smoke and burning metal. The Terran helicopters disappeared into the sky, leaving behind the ruined alien ship in a long scar on the Earth. But the true danger was only beginning. Deep underground, far beneath a mountain range, the Terrans' secure facility known as Black Ridge came alive. Lights turned on, doors locked. Hidden machines hummed as they prepared for their strange new visitors. General Raphael stepped out of the elevator with 2 guards at his side. His eyes were tired but sharp. He had seen disasters before: terrorist strikes, rogue AI attacks, even asteroid scares, but nothing prepared him for the sight waiting inside the quarantine chamber. There, under bright white medical lights, sat the alien refugees. Some were lying on beds, connected to devices that scanned their bodies. Others sat huddled together, whispering in their soft, trembling voices. Their skin glowed faintly like moonlight. Their eyes were large and dark, reflecting fear. Raphael stopped at the glass wall, watching in silence. Captain Aria stood inside the chamber, speaking to the tall alien leader. She wore no helmet now, just her uniform and a calm expression. One hand rested gently on the small alien child's shoulder. The child, weak and frightened, stayed close to her. Aria noticed Raphael and nodded respectfully. The door slid open with a hiss and the general walked inside. The alien leader rose to his feet slowly. He bowed his head, not in respect but in exhaustion. "I am Kalen," he said. "I lead what remains of my people." Raphael was surprised the alien spoke English so well. "I am General Raphael Ortiz," he said. "Earth refuses to harm innocent life. You are safe here." At the word safe, the alien child flinched. Kalen looked around the room at the soldiers standing guard, at the medical staff scanning his people. "Safe," he repeated slowly. "I hope your world understands the meaning of this word." Aria glanced at Raphael. There was a warning inside Kalen's voice, quiet but heavy. Raphael stepped closer. "Tell us everything," he said. "Who are you? What chased you across the stars? Why did you run?" Kalen sat down, but his eyes never left the general's face. His voice shook as he spoke. "We came from a peaceful world, Ithara," he said. "We were builders, healers, explorers. We welcomed others. We believed in unity." He looked at the small child beside Aria. "We did not understand that kindness is a weakness to some." Raphael's expression hardened. "The Draxian hunters," he said. "Who are they?" Kalen closed his eyes for a moment, as if remembering something painful. When he reopened them, fear shone inside. "They are not like you," Kalen whispered. "They do not seek peace. They do not want allies. They only hunt. They destroy weak planets. They enslave survivors and they grow stronger." Aria swallowed. "Why did they come for your people?" Kalen looked at her, and for a moment he seemed shocked by the question. "They come for anyone," he said. "If you exist, you are prey." Raphael exchanged a quick look with Aria. Humanity had faced wars, but never something like this. An enemy that hunted entire civilizations simply because they were alive. "So your people escaped," Raphael said. Kalen nodded. "We sent many ships, families, children, anyone who could run. Most were caught. Only a few survived. Our ship was damaged, our jump failed, and we fell toward your world." The alien child wrapped its thin fingers around Aria's arm, holding tightly. It looked up at Kalen. "Will they find us?" the child whispered. Kalen hesitated, his lips trembled. "They always do." Silence filled the chamber. Even the machines seemed to quiet down. Aria felt the child's heartbeat against her arm, fast, scared, desperate. Raphael stepped back, feeling the weight of Kalen's words tighten around his chest. "If the hunters come," he said carefully, "Earth will defend itself." Kalen looked at him with a sadness that made Raphael's heart drop. "You do not understand," Kalen said softly. "They do not fight like you. They do not negotiate. They will burn your sky, crush your cities, and take your children." Raphael clenched his fists. Aria narrowed her eyes. "Then we need to know their weapons, their numbers, their weaknesses." Kalen lowered his head, his voice reduced to a whisper. "Their only weakness is that they believe no one can stop them." Meanwhile, in orbit inside the Terran space station horizon, alarms flashed again, but much softer this time. Liam sat at his console, listening to strange signals from deep space. He removed his headset and put it back twice. The pattern made no sense. It was like listening to a whisper from a dying star. Chen leaned over. "Another anomaly?" Liam nodded. "Something small, very small, a distortion, like something just entered the outer system." Chen's eyebrows rose. "A ship?" "I don't know," Liam said. "Could be debris. Could be nothing, could be." The console beeped sharply. A new signal appeared, faint and sharp, like a claw scratching metal. Liam froze. "That is not natural." Chen stared at the screen. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Should we inform the captain?" Liam swallowed hard. "Not yet. We need more data." But what?" Chen asked. But whatever that was, it felt like something sniffing. Chen went pale. "Sniffing?" Liam nodded slowly. "Like something searching for a scent, and it just found our solar system." Back at Black Ridge, the refugees were moved to a safer, warmer room. Blankets were given to them. Food that matched their biology was prepared after tests. Medical teams treated their wounds, applied healing gel, and monitored their vitals. Even with all that, the atmosphere remained tense. The aliens kept looking at the ceiling, as if afraid something would break through. Aria sat beside the child, whose name was Leary. The child stared at the glowing lights, chewing slowly on a piece of fruit. "Is Earth nice?" Leary asked. Aria smiled softly. "It's not perfect, but we try to make it better." Leary nodded. Our world was nice too before the hunters came. Arya gently brushed the child's hair, which felt soft like fine fabric. Why do they hunt kids? She asked quietly. Leary looked into her eyes. And the answer chilled her. They want fear. They say fear makes species obey. Arya's heart sank. Not here, she said. We won't let them hurt you. Leary leaned closer. You promise? Arya touched her forehead gently. I promise. But inside, she felt a heavy doubt. The interrogation room. General Raphael met with the Terran Science Council through hologram. The best minds on Earth appeared on glowing screens. We need data, Dr. Howell said. If Dractions exist and they are coming, we must understand their technology. We barely know anything, Raphael replied. Their ships, their power, their numbers. That's why you must let us study the refugee ship, Howell insisted. Raphael sighed. Only if we do it respectfully. One of the council members frowned. Respect will not matter if those monsters attack. Raphael's voice sharpened. We protect the refugees, that is final. A long silence followed. Then Howell looked directly at him. General, he said carefully, if these hunters see compassion as weakness, Earth might already be in danger. Raphael felt that truth sink into his bones. Later that night, Arya sat alone in the observation room watching the refugees sleep. Some twitched in nightmares, some held each other tightly. Leary slept curled beside Kaelin, who kept one hand on the child protectively. Arya leaned back in her chair, letting her eyes close for a moment. That's when she heard a faint sound, a beep, a warning, a red light flashing in the corner of her screen. She straightened instantly. The message came from Horizon. Unidentified signal detected. Outer solar system entry area's heartbeat stopped for a second. Another line appeared. Signal pattern match. 7% unknown aggressor type. Then another pattern increasing. 12%, 19%, 26% match area's blood ran cold. She opened a secure channel. Liam report. Liam's voice came through shaky. Captain, we detected something. It's faint, fast, and it's moving toward us. Arya leaned into the screen. Toward Earth. Captain, Liam whispered. It's following a trail. The screen flickered once. Arya's eyes widened. A trail of what? Liam's answer came slowly. Of the refugee ship's engine. The room seemed to freeze. Arya turned her head slowly toward the refugees, who were asleep, worn, tired, broken. Kaelin's eyes suddenly opened. He looked directly at Arya and he whispered the words she feared most. They found us. The alert message still blinked red on the screen as Arya stood frozen. For a moment, the entire observation room felt too quiet. Too still, like the air itself was listening. Only the soft breathing of the refugees filled the space. Leary shifted in sleep. Kaelin didn't blink. He stared at Arya with a sharpness she hadn't seen before. They found us, he repeated, but this time his voice carried something heavier, acceptance, as if he had expected this moment all along. Arya stepped closer to him. How can you be sure? Kaelin pointed at his chest. Because I know how they track. We used a broken jump engine. It leaves a trail like a wound in space. The hunters are experts at smelling that wound. Arya felt an icy weight drop into her stomach. How long until they arrive? She asked. Kaelin shook his head slowly. Not long. Across the mountain, alarms woke the facility. General Raphael was in the middle of reviewing defense plans when the red lights flashed. His officers rushed around, activating emergency systems. A technician ran up to him. Pale General, we have confirmation from Horizon. An unknown craft has entered the system. Fast, silent, no communication. Raphael didn't waste time. How fast? Very fast, sir. Too fast for any known Terran ship. Raphael closed his eyes for 1 second, breathing deeply. When he opened them, the old soldier inside him was fully awake. Put Earth defense on alert. Move heavy interceptors to high orbit. Lock down Black Ridge. No one enters or leaves without my command. The technician nodded and ran. Raphael pressed his earpiece. Captain Arya, do you copy? Her voice came through steady but tense. Copy, sir. Refugees have confirmed the signal matches their hunters. Raphael tightened his grip on the table. Then get them ready. If the hunters see them alive, they'll come faster. Inside the refugee quarters, the lights turned a soft red as emergency status activated. A low alarm hummed from the walls like a heartbeat. Some of the refugees woke suddenly, frightened. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Leary clutched Arya's sleeve, trembling. Are they here? The child whispered. Not yet, Arya said, but we're preparing. The other Terrans, Kaelin's people, gathered close. Some held injured friends, others wrapped blankets tightly around themselves. Their fear was raw, silent, heavy. Kaelin looked around at his people. Do not panic, he said gently. Terrans are strong. They do not abandon those they protect. Arya felt something twist inside her. She didn't know if Earth was ready for what was coming, but she would not show doubt. We will keep you safe, she said firmly. Kaelin studied her face. You believe that, he said softly. I hope your world believes it too. On the Horizon space station, Liam and Chen worked in silence. The strange signal that entered the solar system was still faint. But growing clearer, it pulsed like a heartbeat, slow, steady, hungry. Chen zoomed the scanner display. The object had a long shape, sharp edges, and moved at a speed no human ship could match. It didn't send signals. It didn't respond to hails. It simply moved closer. Distance, Liam whispered. Past Neptune, Chen said, entering the inner belt. Liam exhaled shakily. That's fast, Chen bit her lip. Should we warn the refugees? Liam hesitated. They already know, the question is, will Earth believe them? He stared at the incoming signal. It's like a wolf, he said slowly. A wolf following a scent. Back at Black Ridge, emergency council meeting, holograms of Terran leaders flickered to life above the long table. Scientists, generals, ambassadors, all wearing worried expressions. We need to decide now, Dr. Howell said. Do we hide or do we stand? General Raphael slammed his hand on the table. We stand. Earth is not a hiding species. General, an ambassador said nervously. We don't even know what they want. Kalen's hologram appeared beside Raphael. Arya had connected him through a portable scanner. I will tell you what they want, Kalen said in a calm, sad tone. They want us, and if you refuse them, they want you. Murmurs filled the room. Kalen continued, the hunters do not speak of rights, they do not ask questions, they only take. And if you try to protect us, they will see Earth as a challenge. Another ambassador leaned forward. Then are you saying we should surrender you? Arya's voice cut through the air like a blade. No, we don't surrender innocent families to monsters. Kalen lowered his head. This is why they will come. Raphael straightened. Then let them come. Preparation begins. Earth did not have centuries of space warfare experience, but humans had something else: speed, creativity, and stubbornness. Within an hour, orbital defense cannons were powered. Terran fleets left dock. Drones formed shields around the planet. Hacker teams prepared digital countermeasures. Underground bunkers readied safe zones. In Black Ridge, soldiers reinforced the quarantine chambers to protect the refugees. Arya guided Leary and the others into a safer room filled with soft lights and blankets. You don't need to be afraid, she whispered. Leary looked up. Do humans always fight this hard for strangers? Arya smiled faintly. Sometimes, but when we choose to protect someone, nothing can move us. Leary held her hand. I want to be brave too. The first sign of the hunters. Suddenly, every screen in Black Ridge flickered. Lights dimmed for 1 second. A deep vibration ran through the walls. Arya looked around sharply. What was that? A technician checked her console. Her voice cracked. A pulse, Captain. Like something scanned the solar system. Kalen's eyes widened. They're marking territory, he whispered. The hunters are saying we are here. The refugees began to shake. Some covered their faces, others cried softly. Arya placed a firm hand on Kalen's shoulder. What happens next? She asked. Kalen stared at the floor. They send scouts, small ships, silent, testing defenses. Arya frowned. Testing for what? To see if we are alone, Kalen said. Or if a new world protects us. The first visual on horizon, Liam gasped. The long-range camera finally captured an image, not clear but enough. The object had dark armor shaped like broken knives. Red symbols glowed on its side. Its front end looked like a predator's jaw. Liam felt cold all over. That is not a friendly ship, Chen whispered. Send it to Black Ridge, now. Black Ridge, Command Center Area, Raphael. And the council stared at the projected image. Even blurry, the ship radiated danger. Kalen stepped forward slowly, his voice trembled. That is a Draxian scout. Raphael crossed his arms. How many scouts usually arrive before the main fleet? Kalen turned toward him with sorrowful eyes. Scouts do not mean an attack is coming, he said. Raphael frowned. What do they mean then? Kalen took a deep breath. They mean the attack has already begun. At that exact moment, a second signal arrived, this one sharper, louder, closer. Liam's voice echoed through the comm channel. Captain General, we have a second contact, much bigger, much faster. Arya grabbed the nearest console. How big? Liam hesitated, then he whispered, big enough that our scanners can't read its full size. Every soldier in the room went silent. Kalen shut his eyes. It is their war cruiser, he said softly. They did not come to threaten you. He opened his eyes. They came to test your strength and then break it. General Raphael's decision. Raphael stood still for a moment, thinking, calculating, deciding. Then he straightened. All Terran forces, he said into the emergency channel, prepare for first contact battle positions. Alarms rang, sirens cried, lights flashed red. The ground shook as underground missile chambers unlocked. Arya stood beside him, her jaw tight. What if they try to talk first? Raphael didn't blink. Then we listen, and if they fire first, his eyes darkened. We remind them this planet is not prey. In the refugee quarters, Leary ran to Kalen, frightened. Are they here? Are we in danger? Kalen wrapped his arms around the child. We were in danger the moment we escaped them, he whispered. But now we have something we never had before. Leary looked up, confused. What? Kalen looked toward the thick metal walls of Black Ridge. He said, Arya's last look before battle. She stepped outside the quarantine chamber, watching soldiers run and machines power up. The air was filled with energy, fear, determination. She pressed her hand against the cold metal wall separating her from the refugees. I won't let them take you, she whispered. Her own reflection stared back, tired, afraid, but ready. Then she turned toward the elevators. The battle for Earth had just begun. The world did not know it yet, but its sky was about to change forever. High above Earth, orbiting silently like a steel guardian, the Horizon Station felt the first tremor of something unnatural. Not a physical shake, nothing that rattled the walls or moved equipment, but a vibration in the air, a pressure that made every screen flicker and every heartbeat pause. Liam stood over his console, staring at the signal. The scout ship was close, so close that its presence distorted the sensors. It moved like a shadow, slipping through space without dragging light behind it. Chen whispered, "That's impossible, nothing moves like that." Liam's hands trembled slightly, but he forced his voice to stay steady. "Send all visual feeds to Earth Command, they need to see this." A red symbol flashed across his monitor. "The object has changed course, direct path to Earth defense line." Chen stared at him. "Does that mean they've seen us?" Liam swallowed. "It means they're testing us." Down on Earth, General Raphael takes command deep in Black Ridge. The command center vibrated as massive metal doors sealed the facility. The entire mountain entered war mode. General Raphael walked to the center platform, the weight of the moment pressing on his shoulders. Officers stood ready, holograms flickered with data, soldiers rushed in every direction. "Status," Raphael demanded. "Orbital shields powering," said an officer. "Terran fleet is forming around geosynchronous orbit, all weapons online." Raphael nodded. "Good, keep civilians unaware for now, no panic." Another officer handed him a tablet. "General, we have the first clear image of the Hunter Scout ship." Raphael looked at it and felt his stomach tighten. The alien scout ship was long and thin, like a knife carved from black stone. Red lines glowed along its sides like veins. The front of the ship resembled an open jaw filled with metallic teeth. It didn't look like something built, it looked like something born. Raphael whispered, "God help us." Inside, the refugee quarters area rushed back into the refugee hall. Her armor was half on, helmet under her arm. She found Kalen standing near the metal wall, his face pale. Leary held his hand, trembling. Arya knelt and touched the child's shoulder. "Listen to me, no matter what happens. You stay here, this place is safe." Kalen shook his head slowly. "Safe until they decide it is not." Arya bit her lip. "You survived them once." Kalen's eyes darkened. "No, we escaped once, that is not the same." She stood and looked at the group of refugees. Their silver skin glowed softly in the emergency lights. Some prayed, some held hands, some stared at the floor. Kalen stepped closer. "Captain, if the hunters are here, they will send a message." Arya frowned. "What kind of message?" Kalen looked toward the ceiling. "The same message they send every time they find new prey." Orbit, the Hunter Scout arrives. The Terran fleet floated above Earth like a protective shield, sleek starships with glowing engines, cannons ready, drones deployed. They weren't as advanced as other alien species, but they were fast, creative, unpredictable. The Hunter Scout ship slowed as it reached the defense line. For a moment, the entire fleet held its breath. "Open hailing channel," ordered Admiral Kaido from the lead ship Vigilant Dawn. No response. "Send again," no response. The hunter ship simply hovered there, silent, watching. Liam's voice came through from horizon. "Admiral, the ship is scanning us." The Admiral leaned forward. "Scan them back." "We can't," Liam said. "Their hull absorbs everything. We can't read inside." Chen added, "It's like scanning a black hole." The hunter ship finally moved, slowly, deliberately. Mockingly, it drifted just close enough to touch the borders of Earth's defensive range, as if daring them to fire. The Admiral clenched his fists. "Do not provoke, wait for their move." The next moment, the hunter ship opened, not externally, not physically, but on every Terran screen a red symbol appeared, old, sharp, violent, a message. A single sentence translated automatically, "Surrender our prey or be erased." At Black Ridge, the room goes silent, the message replayed on every screen. Kalen closed his eyes. Leary clutched Arya tightly. "That is their voice," Kalen whispered. "Cold, empty, they have spoken." Arya's breath caught. "Now what?" Kalen slowly looked up. "Now we choose." General Raphael calls Earth's leaders. Terran leaders appeared on holograms, presidents, commanders, scientists. Everyone spoke at once. "We can't fight them. We can't hand over innocent people. We must negotiate. We must hide. This could destroy Earth." Raphael slammed a fist on the table. "Enough." The room went silent. "We don't have the luxury of fear," he said. "We have a choice. The same choice every species has faced under the hunters." He pointed at Kalen's hologram. "They ran, they fought, they suffered, but they did not surrender their children." Raphael took a breath. "I refuse to let Earth start its first contact with aliens by giving in to monsters." Some leaders nodded, others looked terrified. Finally, Dr. Howell spoke quietly. "If we refuse, they will attack." Raphael's voice hardened. "Then we make them regret it." A new message arrives back on horizon. Liam's console flashed. He frowned. "Admiral, we're receiving another signal." The Admiral raised an eyebrow. "From the Scout?" "No, sir, from deeper in space." Chen looked closer and gasped. "It's bigger than the Scout, much bigger." Liam whispered. "This is their war cruiser." The big screen showed a faint, massive outline far beyond the moon, like a floating fortress wrapped in darkness. Admiral Kaido exhaled slowly. "So they sent the Scout to test us, and now they send the teeth." Sir Liam said weakly, "There might be more behind it." Admiral Kaido didn't blink. "Prepare all ships." Back at Black Ridge, Arya makes a choice. Arya stood in the hallway, helmet in hand. Her heart pounded against her chest like a warning drum. She knew she was part of the first line of defense, and she knew the refugees needed her strength. Kalen approached her quietly. "You go to fight," he said. Arya nodded. "I have to." Kalen placed his hand gently over her armor. "Human, be careful. They are not used to prey that bites back." Arya smirked lightly. "Then it's time they learn." Leary stepped forward, eyes full of fear. "Will you come back?" Arya knelt and ruffled the child's hair. "I will." Leary asked softly. "How do you know?" Arya smiled. "Because humans are stubborn, and stubborn people always come back." She stood and turned away before her emotions broke through. The first shot high above Earth, where night meets vacuum, the Hunter Scout ship moved one final time. It tilted slightly, red energy built along its jaw-like front. Every Terran sensor screamed. "Weapons charge detected." Admiral Kaido's voice echoed across the fleet. "All ships, shields up." A beam of red light shot forward, thin, sharp, impossibly fast. It wasn't aimed at a ship, it wasn't aimed at a weapon, it was aimed at the moon. The beam carved a scar across its surface, melting rock, sending dust flying. It was a warning, a demonstration, a promise. The Hunter ship sent another message: last chance. The Admiral didn't hesitate. Terran fleet opened fire. The battle begins. Dozens of Terran ships launched missiles, fired plasma cannons, and sent drones swarming. Explosions lit the black sky like fireworks. The Hunter Scout ship didn't dodge, it didn't move, it simply absorbed the attacks like it was swallowing sunlight. Chen whispered, It's invincible." Liam shook his head. "No ship is invincible, we just need to find the weakness." But he looked terrified. The scout ship finally moved, slowly, a cruel gesture. Then it turned toward Earth's biggest ship, the Vigilant Dawn. Admiral Kaido knew what was coming. He stood proudly on the deck. "For Earth," he said softly. The Hunter ship fired a single red beam. It was quiet, beautiful, deadly. The Vigilant Dawn vanished in a flash of light. The Admiral and every soul aboard were gone. On Earth, the shock arrives. Alarms screamed. Screens went white. Kalen whispered, "They have taken your strongest ship, and they have not even begun to attack." Arya felt her breath stop. General Raphael clenched his jaw. "Prepare ground defenses. We hold the planet at all costs." Kalen stepped forward. "General, this is only the scout. The war cruiser is still coming." Raphael stared at him. "Then tell me how to beat them." Kalen hesitated. Finally he spoke. "There is a weakness, but to show it, we must face them up close." Arya looked at him sharply. "How close?" Kalen met her eyes. "As close as death." Earth had never seen destruction happen so fast. Just minutes after the Vigilant Dawn disappeared in a burst of light, shockwaves rippled through Terran command. People everywhere, soldiers, officers, scientists, stared at the screens in complete disbelief. A single beam, a single shot, a whole ship gone. Arya felt like the air had been punched out of her chest. She had trained with some of the crew of the Vigilant Dawn. She knew their faces, their laughter, their hopes. Now they were stardust. Leary saw the horror in Arya's eyes and ran to her, wrapping thin arms around her leg. Arya knelt, hugging the child back tightly. "It's okay," Arya whispered, but she wasn't sure. Kalen stood nearby, watching the screen with a heavy sadness. He didn't flinch at the destruction. He had seen it before, too many times. "This is their way," he said quietly. "First they cut your strongest limb, then they watch the rest of the body panic." General Raphael stepped forward with a grim expression. "We are not panicking, we are planning, and we're not giving them our people." Kalen nodded slowly. "Then it is time for you to learn something my people discovered too late." Arya looked at Kalen, eyes sharp. "A weakness." Kalen didn't answer immediately. Instead, he stepped closer to a screen showing the Hunter Scout ship. "Hunters love fear," he began. "It is their weapon, they feed on it. They want their enemies to feel hopeless before the final blow." Raphael folded his arms. "We already know they enjoy intimidation." "You misunderstand," Kalen said. "Fear is not just their joy, it is their shield." Arya frowned. "Shield?" Kalen pointed to the glowing red patterns on the Hunter ship. "Those lights, that energy, it grows stronger when those they hunt feel fear." Raphael blinked slowly. "You mean they use fear as power?" Kalen nodded. "Not emotional. Biological fear, the natural survival response all living creatures have. Terror, panic, shock." Arya's stomach twisted. "So the more terrified Earth becomes, the stronger they will be," Kalen finished. A heavy silence filled the room. Up in orbit, the Terran fleet struggles. Terran ships fired plasma bursts, railgun shells, EMP rockets, and missile swarms. The sky above Earth turned into a glowing battlefield. But the Hunter Scout ship flew through every attack without slowing down. It dodged missiles with unnatural grace. It bent light around its hull, and when a Terran drone got too close, the ship released a pulse of red energy that dissolved the drone into dust. Chen stared at the scene on her console. "We're not hurting it at all." Liam typed quickly. "Look, every time our fleet loses a ship or takes heavy damage, the red patterns on their hull glow brighter." Chen froze. "So Kalen was right, they feed on fear." Liam swallowed hard. "If that's true, then we're basically charging their weapons." Black Ridge Strategy Room General Raphael slammed his fist on the table. Then we stop feeding them, we stop the panic. Arya shook her head. Humans panic, it's natural. Kaelin approached her gently. Humans panic, yes, but humans also have something no other species I've seen understands. Arya raised an eyebrow. What? Kaelin's eyes softened. Courage. He continued, the hunters do not understand courage. They have never faced an enemy who keeps fighting after losing. They don't understand hope. They don't understand stubbornness. General Raphael narrowed his eyes. Are you saying humans can resist their fear-feeding ability? Kaelin nodded. Your emotions are strange, mixed, strong. Humans can feel fear and courage at the same time. Arya felt her heart beat a little louder. So our fear doesn't give them full power. Not if it is controlled, Kaelin said. Not if your people refuse to surrender to fear. Raphael looked around the room. For the first time there was a spark of possibility. So we stand, Raphael said. We don't crumble, we don't give in. Kaelin looked at him seriously. If your world can unite emotionally, mentally, then yes, you can weaken the hunters. Arya stepped forward. So what do we do first? Kaelin turned toward the screen and whispered, we stop the scout ship before it calls the main fleet. Orbit, the scout ship makes its move. The hunter scout ship changed direction. Slowly, decisively, it was no longer testing Earth's fleet. It was looking for something. Chen stared at her monitor. Liam, it's scanning for energy sources, strong ones. Liam's eyes widened. Reactors, weapons, command centers. Chen whispered, it's looking for Earth's heart. Then her console turned red. Oh no, 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 no. What? Liam shouted. It found something, she said. Something underground. Liam froze. Is it Black Ridge? Chen nodded slowly. The hunters know where the refugees are. Black Ridge, the ground trembles, the facility's lights dimmed, the walls shook lightly as if something massive had flown overhead. Arya grabbed the edge of a table. What was that? A technician shouted from across the room. The scout ship just entered low orbit. Raphael's eyes widened. They're coming here, Kaelin whispered. They want to finish what they started. They want us back. Leary clung to Arya's leg, shaking. Captain, they're coming for us. Arya lifted the child in her arms, holding them close. No, she whispered. They're coming for all of us. General Raphael orders the impossible. Prepare the mountain shields. Raphael barked. Weapons to full power. Get every soldier ready. A lieutenant shouted, Sir, our guns won't reach the scout ship at that altitude. Then bring them closer, Raphael snarled. We will not let them take anything from this planet. Kaelin reveals the truth amid the chaos. Kaelin stepped toward Raphael with a grave expression. There is something else you must know, Kaelin said, a truth my people discovered only when it was too late. Raphael turned slowly. What truth? Kaelin hesitated, then he said, the hunters are not just strong, they do not only hunt. Arya looked at him sharply. What do they do? Kaelin's voice grew soft, terrified. They evolve. Every time they conquer a world, they take the DNA, the technology, the memories, they add it to themselves. Raphael froze. Are you saying? Yes, Kaelin whispered. They become stronger with every species they destroy. Arya felt like she had swallowed ice. So if they destroy Earth, Kaelin nodded slowly. They will become unstoppable. Leary hugged Arya tightly. Please don't let them take us. Please, Arya held the child close. We won't, but her voice cracked. The scout ship finally descends. The sky above the mountain split open with a red glow. Everyone inside Black Ridge looked up instinctively. A beam of light pierced through the clouds, stopping just above the facility like a finger pointing from heaven. The hunter scout ship hovered there, silent, watching, choosing. Kaelin's voice trembled. They know we're here. Raphael's voice echoed through the hall. Earth defense fire. Explosions erupted from hidden turrets. Missiles launched from the mountainsides. Plasma cannons fired upward, but the scout ship didn't move. It absorbed everything. Then for the first time it responded. Red symbols along its hull brightened. The air grew heavier, thicker, like a storm was forming. Kaelin whispered, now it begins. Arya held her weapon tight and whispered to herself, humans don't run. The hunter ship opened its jaw-like front. A red glow built deeper inside. Leary covered their eyes. Kaelin braced himself. Arya stepped forward. General Raphael shouted, brace for impact. And then the world above them exploded in light. The mountain shook like a living creature struck by a giant's fist. The red beam from the hunter scout ship slammed into the upper shield of Black Ridge, creating a sphere of crackling light above the facility. Rocks tumbled, dust rained from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Arya threw her arms around Leary, shielding the child. The refugees huddled together, terrified. Kaelin braced himself against the wall, eyes wide. This attack, it is not meant to destroy, it is meant to measure our strength. General Raphael shouted orders as soldiers steadied themselves. Reinforce the shield, bring all energy reserves online. Technicians worked frantically. Sir, the shield is holding for now, but the hunters are increasing power. The red beam intensified, growing wider and brighter. Arya whispered, they're testing how much we can take. Kaelin nodded, yes, and once they know, they will tell the war cruiser. In orbit, panic spreads on the Horizon station. Liam and Chen watched the attack through satellite feeds. Chen's hands shook. Earth's upper shield is already cracking. Liam's voice was quiet, scared. The scout ship isn't even trying, it's playing. Chen swallowed. Should we warn Black Ridge? Liam shook his head. They already know. Inside Black Ridge, a desperate maneuver, the red beam suddenly stopped. For a second there was silence, not relief, just an uncomfortable quiet before the next storm. Raphael sensed it. They are repositioning. Kalen placed a hand on the wall, feeling vibrations. They are charging something stronger. Arya stepped forward, then we hit them first. Raphael blinked. What? Arya's jaw tightened. We can't just wait. We hit back hard. Technicians glanced at her nervously. The refugees looked confused. Kalen raised an eyebrow. Human, you want to attack the scout ship? Arya nodded. Yes. Kalen stared at her for a long moment, then whispered, "You are unlike any species we have ever met." General Raphael stepped beside Arya. We have railguns, missile silos, beam cannons, all positioned around the mountain, but nothing has pierced their shield. Arya pointed upward, then stopped aiming at the ship. Raphael frowned. Explain. Arya grabbed a tablet, dragging open a schematic. Hunters evolve, their ships evolve, they learn quickly, but they always expect predictable attacks, straight lines aimed at their hull. She zoomed in on the underside of the scout ship. They don't expect attacks from below. Raphael's eyes lit with understanding. You want to bring the weapon up from inside the mountain? Arya nodded. We have a vertical rail launcher, hidden, experimental. Raphael turned to the engineer. Is the prototype built? The engineer hesitated. It was never meant to fire at something this big. Can it fire? Raphael demanded. A pause, then the answer, yes sir. Raphael slammed the table. Prepare it. Refugees sensed something dark. Leary tugged Arya's sleeve. Captain, I feel something. Arya knelt. Feel what? Leary pointed toward the ceiling with shaking hands. They're angry. Killen looked uneasy. Children of our kind, they sense emotional waves strongly. If Leary feels anger, before he could finish, the ground vibrated again. This time deeper, heavier, like something ancient waking up. The scout ship changes shape on orbital screens. The hunter scout ship's hull began to split, opening like a monstrous flower. Sharp metal petals unfolded, revealing a pulsing red core. Liam gasped. It's changing configuration. Chen whispered. It's preparing a planet-cracking shot. Liam shook his head in terror. No, scouts don't have planet crackers. Chen swallowed hard. This is something new. Back on Earth, the weapon awakens inside the mountain. Engineers rushed to power up the vertical rail launcher. The giant weapon sat deep underground like a sleeping dragon, coils glowing, magnetic rails humming. Arya watched it come online. Will it reach orbit? The engineer wiped sweat from his brow. If it fires correctly, yes. Raphael's eyes narrowed. Power it to maximum. The engineer's eyes widened. General, it could tear the mountain apart. Raphael's voice was stern. If the hunters fire first, none of this mountain will matter. The engineer nodded with shaking hands. Powering maximum. Lights across the facility dimmed as energy rerouted. A terrifying discovery. Kalen suddenly froze, completely still. Arya noticed immediately. What is it? Kalen's voice turned hollow. I feel more than one. Arya's heart sank. More than one what? Kalen whispered. More hunter ships. Raphael spun toward him. Where? Kalen pointed toward the sky with trembling hands. They are not here, but they are near. The war cruiser is close, and behind it I feel many voices. Arya swallowed. How many? Kalen whispered with dread. An entire hunting pack. Raphael felt the blood drain from his face. We need a victory, he said quietly. A small one, something to show Earth that we can fight. He looked at Arya. Fire the launcher. Orbit. The hunter scout begins its real attack. The red core inside the scout ship brightened until it looked like a miniature sun. Alarms blared across Horizon Station. Liam shouted, they're aiming at something underground. Chen gasped. Black Ridge. The last second before impact, the entire mountain shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Sparks flew. Children cried. Refugees clung to each other. Arya shouted, everybody down. General Raphael stood firm. Is the weapon ready? The engineer screamed, charged. Fire, Raphael roared. The Terran weapon launches. A deafening roar came from deep underground as the rail launcher fired. A massive metal projectile, glowing white-hot, shot upward with impossible speed, breaking through rock, air, and clouds like a bullet fired from the planet itself. The mountain shook violently as the weapon discharged. The refugees screamed. Leary covered their ears. Kalen held them close. Arya braced herself against a wall. Outside, the projectile sliced through the sky, leaving a blazing trail behind it. It climbed higher until it reached the hunter scout ship. The first scar on the hunter armor, the projectile didn't destroy the scout ship, but it hit something important. It struck the ship's glowing core. The impact released a shockwave that shook orbit itself. The scout ship reeled backward, spinning slightly. Its red glow flickering in pain. Liam's eyes widened. We hit it, Chen gasped. We actually heard it. Below, Arya stared at the screen, eyes wide. We did it, Kalen whispered, almost in disbelief. You wounded a hunter ship. That is impossible. General Raphael's face hardened with pride. Nothing is impossible for humans, he said. The entire Terran facility erupted in cheers, shouting relief, until the scout ship changed again. The hunters revealed their true nature. The ship shuddered, then began absorbing its own damaged metal back into its hull. Red veins pulsed aggressively as the wound healed. Chen's voice trembled. It's repairing itself. Liam stared in horror. It learned from the hit. Arya whispered. It adapted. Kalen nodded slowly. Yes, now it knows the shape of your weapon. It will not fall for it again. Raphael slammed a fist on the table. Then we hit harder next time. Kalen looked at him with a mixture of fear and respect. You don't understand, General. You wounded the scout ship. His voice dropped to a whisper filled with dread. And now the warcruiser will take you seriously. The warcruiser arrives. The sensors on horizon suddenly went silent. Liam froze. Why did everything go dark? Chen whispered. Something blocked the scanners. Then the darkness on the screen split. A massive shape emerged. Bigger than mountains. Bigger than cities. Huge enough to eclipse stars. A Draxian warcruiser. Its hull glowed with thousands of red veins. Its engines were like burning suns. It radiated hunger, power, and ancient cruelty. Liam whispered. Oh no. Chen finished his sentence, voice shaking. They are here. On Earth, the refugees collapsed to the floor, overwhelmed with fear. Kalen whispered. Now the real hunt begins. Arya tightened her grip on her weapon. General Raphael raised his head, eyes full of steel. Then we give them a fight they will never forget. The war cruiser filled half the sky. Even from the ground, people could see a dark shadow moving across the stars. It was like a floating mountain made of metal and hunger. Thousands of red lines glowed across its body, each one pulsing like a heartbeat. Leary felt it before anyone else. The child grabbed Arya's sleeve tightly, eyes wide with terror. They are angry, Leary whispered. So angry, Kalen placed a protective arm around the child. Sweat formed along his silver forehead. They are not angry, he said slowly. They are excited. Arya stiffened. Excited for what? Kalen whispered. For the hunt. Inside Black Ridge, Earth refuses to kneel. Alarms blared as screens filled with red warnings. Warcruiser in range. Multiple weapon systems detected shield failure. In 6 minutes, General Raphael stood at the center of the command room like a stone statue. Officers ran, shouted, panicked, but Raphael stayed calm. We need to keep the refugees safe, he said, no matter the cost. Arya stepped beside him. If the warcruiser fires, this entire mountain will be gone. Raphael nodded. Then we don't let them fire. A young officer looked up from her console. Sir, what are we supposed to do? Their ship is bigger than our cities. Raphael gave no smile, no fear, just a cold, determined stare. We fight. In orbit, humanity's last line Terran ships hovered in formation. Many had taken damage. Only half of the original fleet remained operational. But every surviving ship pointed its weapons at the warcruiser. Admiral Kaido's second-in-command, Captain Ryoko, stood on the bridge of the Spirit of Dawn, her eyes narrowed. Form the iron wall pattern, she ordered. Her crew hesitated. But ma'am, we will be the first ones destroyed. Ryoko nodded. Yes, that's why we do it. No one argued. Earth wasn't fighting because it expected victory. Earth was fighting because surrender tasted worse than death. The hunters speak again. The warcruiser projected a new message. A horrifying voice filled every Terran speaker, every radio, every It was deep, guttural, sharp, like metal grinding on bone. Give us the prey, your world will be spared. Arya glared at the speakers. Lies, Kalen nodded. Always lies. General Raphael stood tall and pressed a button, sending Earth's reply to the warcruiser. His voice echoed across space. Earth does not hand over children. A long silence followed. Then the hunters whispered a single sentence, then die with them. The first strike of the war cruiser, red symbols along the massive hull brightened. A deep hum shook the sky. Even from the ground, people felt vibration in their bones. Leary covered their ears. Make it stop, make it stop. Kalen held the child tightly. It's a charging wave. They are preparing their deepest weapon. Arya grabbed her communicator. Raphael, they're going to fire the planet cracker, aren't they? Raphael nodded slowly. Yes. The warcruiser didn't fire directly at the mountain. Instead, a beam stabbed into the clouds above the Pacific Ocean. The water vapor exploded upward, forming a giant spiral. The ocean shifted violently, creating a storm that twisted unnaturally fast. One of the scientists gasped. They're weaponizing the weather, another shouted. They're creating a hyperstorm, forcing nature to tear Earth apart. Arya clenched her jaw. They plan to drown the planet. Kalen whispered. This is the Draxians' way. If prey hides, they destroy the environment, slowly, painfully. General Raphael moved to the center platform. His voice boomed. We stop that storm or Earth drowns. A strange human decision in orbit. Captain Ryoko watched the growing vortex on her monitors. Atmospheric distortion rising, ocean rising, storm forming. Ryoko kept her voice steady. Move interceptors into the storm wall. Her officers blinked. Ma'am, that's suicide. Ryoko nodded. I know. The interceptors moved anyway. Humans had always thrown themselves at impossible odds. This time their sacrifice slowed the storm's growth. Only slowed, not stopped. The warcruiser reacts. Confusion. Inside Black Ridge, Kalen suddenly tilted his head. Arya noticed immediately. What is it? Kalen's eyes narrowed. The hunters, they are confused. Arya blinked. Confused, Kalen nodded. They do not understand why your ships entered the storm. It was not logical, not tactical. Arya smirked. Welcome to humanity. Kalen whispered, your unpredictability, it bothers them. General Raphael turned toward Kalen sharply. Is that important? Kalen nodded quickly. Yes, hunters evolve logically, perfectly. They expect predictable responses. Arya's eyes widened, and humans are anything but predictable. Kalen took a deep breath, his silver skin glowing softly with realization. You have a chance, he whispered. A real chance. If you confuse them, they cannot adapt fast enough. Raphael's voice hardened. Then let's confuse the monsters. Humanity does the unexpected. General Raphael pressed the emergency broadcast button. Terran fleet, he said calmly, initiate Operation Scramble. No one knew what it was, not even the officers, but the pilots did. Because Operation Scramble was never written on paper. It existed only in stories between pilots. A suicidal plan, one word flashed across every ship, chaos. Terran ships broke formation, they moved in impossible patterns, zigzags, spirals, sudden stops, wild spins, no synchronization, no logic, no strategy. To the hunters who calculated combat like a perfect machine, it looked like madness. The warcruiser hesitated, actually hesitated. Chen gasped on horizon. Their targeting is confused. Liam shouted in shock, they can't predict us. Earth strikes back. Arya shoved her helmet back on. If they're confused, we attack now. General Raphael nodded. Launch all remaining missiles, fire everything. Earth unleashed a storm of fire, nuclear-tipped missiles, EMP bombs, plasma cannons, prototype rail slugs, laser batteries, scrambler drones, the sky filled with explosions. Arya watched from the surface. Heart pounding, come on. Some missiles hit the scout ship, others hit the warcruiser. Most were swallowed by its shields, but a precious few hit the red veins along its hull, and for the first time the warcruiser roared, a deep, painful metallic sound. Kalen gasped. You heard it. Arya grinned. We heard a god. Kalen shook his head. They are not gods, but you, he looked at Arya with awe. You fight like storms. But the hunters adapt quickly. The warcruiser's red veins pulsed brighter. It repaired itself, adapting again. Kalen's face fell. Too fast. They're learning again. Arya cursed. We need something bigger, something they can't heal from. General Raphael stared at the storm forming across the ocean. The water spiraled upward like a massive column. They're using Earth's elements against us, Raphael said. Kalen nodded. Yes. Arya looked at Raphael. Then maybe we use Earth against them. Raphael frowned. Explain. Arya pointed at the massive superstorm. What if we trigger something nature can't be controlled by, something chaotic, something even they can't predict? Kalen's eyes widened. What are you thinking? Arya said one word, tectonic. Kalen stumbled back. You want to wake Earth itself. Arya nodded slowly. If unpredictability hurts them, then let's give them the biggest unpredictable force on the planet. Raphael's eyes widened with dawning realization. You want to use the planet's tectonic plates as a weapon. Arya smiled faintly. Yes. Kalen looked horrified, but also amazed. You humans, he whispered, you truly are terrifying. The plan forms if executed wrong. The plan could destroy continents. If executed right, it could break the warcruiser. General Raphael breathed deeply. Prepare the seismic resonators. Engineers froze. Sir, that could trigger earthquakes, Raphael nodded. Yes, he pointed at the sky, voice sharp as steel, and that warcruiser will feel every single one. Arya activated her helmet. Humans don't run. Kalen placed his hand over his heart. No, he whispered, humans become storms.